Hey, what is up everyone? Hope you're all having a wonderful time. Have you heard about this new thing called Recombinators? No? Let me tell you what it is then. This is gonna be the fast version. So, think of the Recombinators as the old Harvest but on crack. There are 3 different kinds that you can choose from. We got one for armor, one for weapons, and lastly one for jewelry. Why can't I get this right?
Jewelry.
Anyways, so you take 2 items of the same type and you use the Recombinators to combine them. This will choose one of the 2 bases and then combine the stats from both of the items. While doing this, it's completely random which stats that will be picked from. You can also gain higher tiers of different modifiers, and they can also decrease in tier as well. Also, you can gain new mods that would not be possible to obtain without using the Recombinators as well. So, this was the quick explanation of what the Recombinator is, and in this video we are going to focus on different tips that I wish that I have known before I used them myself, and hopefully some of these tips will help you out also. Before we start, just a quick reminder to like and subscribe to the channel if you find these tips helpful and want to show your support. With that said, let's begin. So, there are some really powerful shit that you can do with this. One of the new meta ways of crafting is to get 2 different fractured items and then combine them so you get one item with 2 fraction mods on it. One popular way is getting a ring, for example, and once you get the ring with 2 fraction mods on it, you can then use the Essence of Delirium to get the damage over time multiplier. And this can be used for a lot of popular builds like Explosive Arrow or Righteous Fire, as I do play myself. Really powerful stuff right there. And while we do talk about fraction mods, you cannot transfer a fraction mod to an influenced item. This being Elder, Shaper, Crusader, Hunter, Redeemer or Warlord. This might not be a surprise for some, but I would like to include it either way. You couldn't get fraction mod on influenced item before, so it would just make sense not to include it on the Recombinators as well. Just imagine the possibilities. Let's continue to talk about the bases real quick. First up, you can only combine items of the same type, so shields with shields and helms with helms, etc. Once you use the Recombinators, it will then choose one of the 2 bases it will then start to transfer the stats to. So this means that if you really want a certain base, you should probably get 2 of the same, right? Because it's always going to be a 50-50 chance on which base it will choose from. Also good to know is that you can't transfer a helm enchant or implicits, for example, like Eater of the World. These can only stay on its original base, so you can only transfer prefixes and suffixes on an item. The item level on an item can also change. If you combine 2 items with different item levels, it can then meet in between or getting better, but it can also stay the same as it was before. If you're trying to transfer fraction mods, for instance, these items can be at very low item level sometimes, and if you are unlucky, you might end up with a very low item level, even if you manage to get the right base. Another thing is if you have 2 items with both open suffix, and you really want to have an open suffix after they combine, you can then go and do a suffix craft on both of the items before you combine them, and this way making so it doesn't really matter which base it will choose from, you will still have the craft on the item. Next is going to be about corrupted items. Maybe you've seen that the prices on some of the corrupted items in Sentinel League might still be kinda high, you might think. Well, with the Recombinators you can now transfer the stats from a corrupted item to a normal one. And this is pretty insane. But damn, it's so good to finally having a better use for corrupted items. Some great uses are plus to all skills on amulets, and we also have plus to all spell gems on one-hander weapons. Some more expensive than others depending on the base. If you own solo cell phone, doing the Val area is a great way of getting 6 links. Often the stats might not be the greatest, but now you have a chance of transferring some great stats from a normal item to a corrupted 6 link instead. This might be a great option early on if you are struggling on your 6 links. You cannot transfer a certain influence mod to another influence type item. And what I mean by this is if you do have an influence mod like, let's say, the Elder Percentage Life on a belt, you cannot transfer it on a Shaper belt. You can also not transfer an influence mod to a non-influenced item. It needs to be able to get a mod from it to be able to transfer it. Does it make any sense? Can be easy to miss sometimes. For instance, this ring that I made do have the curse flammability on hit, which is usually a Warlord's mod, but the ring is not influenced. Well, some of these mods can be dropped from elsewhere. And this ring I got from Delve by doing the fire item nodes, for example. Keep that in mind that it might be possible to get these modifiers without having influenced item. Go check it out on PoEDB if you would like to check it out more. Both Delve and Incursion got some really cool and unique modifiers that you can get from a non-influenced item. Also, Essence is a really great way now that you can have multiple different Essence modifiers on one item. Lastly, when I usually use the Recombinators, I want as few stats on the items as possible and only the stats that I really want, right? Usually I do make them rare before I combine them. It just felt like it's the best way of the stats to transfer. Rare items can have up to 6 modifiers, 3 prefix and suffixes, but you can actually combine 2 magic items and it can change into a rare item instead. If you did think like me, that might not be the case, just knowing that you can actually get a rare item from combining 2 magic items. What do you think? Is there a way to get better odds while using the Recombinators? Or is it just a complete gamble? Tell me what you think in the comments. There are so many things that you can do with this new system and the possibilities are just endless. Look at this shit, for instance. Took it from Reddit. Here we have triple incursion mods on these gloves. These are very nutty and totally illegal. This ring, for example, have a total of 110 increased damage with dot multiplier and flat life and also a percentage life. I mean, not to brag or anything, but have you seen my ring that I made? If you haven't, go check it out, link in the description. Alright everyone, there we go. I hope this was helpful in some way or made some things more clear. If you got any other tips that might be helpful, please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to show your support. It do mean a lot to me. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!